Okay, Sparky.
Wow, that audio was messed up. So this week's tip of the week's about wood.
Wood?
Yeah, how much wood would a woodchuck could? How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Well, a woodchuck would chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could if a woodchuck could actually chuck
Chuck
wood.
Wood. There you go.
But anyway, so something we deal with all the time, Ron, I'm sure you do too. So you work with inferior designers, and they tell you that we need this ceiling detail done in wood,
Sure.
stained.
Sure.
It's the most annoying thing in the world to me. It's right up there with fingernails on a chalkboard.
Uh-huh.
When a designer calls out wood stained.
Right.
So then I have right away, what species, what cut?
Right.
Well, I don't know. I want to match the floor. I'm like, do you realize it'll never match the floor? Even if I took the floor and put it on the ceiling, it won't match. You know why? Because it's on the ceiling.
Right.
Light goes down, reflects up, it'll never match. They're just, duh.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, but then the other thing is, how do you want the wood cut? What?
Yeah.
So plain sawn is what you see in all the stores.
Sure. That's just a natural. That's the
Well,
normal.
it's the highest yield of a log.
Okay. There you go. Yes. Perfect.
Is plain sawn. You just start top of the log, go through it.
Right.
So when you do that, you'll get all those like triangular shapes or whatever going through the face. And on the edges of the board, which also makes them hard to plane or scrape, is that the grain can go from top down or bottom up. And midway through the board, you might have to change direction of scraping or planing.
Yeah.
They're terrible boards, but that's what they buy because it's what you sell in all the box stores. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you want a beautiful oak table, you can still do it. But to me, the grain is horrible.
Right.
Now, if you go to, let's call it quarter sawn is when they take the log basically and cut it in four, right? You got 4 triangles. And then you work on those straight up. And what happens is you get less radius and more grain. So you'll have straight lines through the face of the board. The edges will have those triangles like you're used to seeing on the face of a board.
Right.
But then if we go to rift sawn, which is almost impossible to find these days, rift sawn has the highest amount of waste.
Oh, all right.
But rift sawn is where it's all done. Think of a clock dial. I cut a board at 1, I cut a board at 12, I cut a board at 11, so on to go around.